Hey, folks, welcome to the Veteran Coach Network. My name is Luke Medvegy, and I have my co-host, not just someone else, no, someone who is known in the veteran community, someone who is out there literally helping folks heal around the world. And quite frankly, I've been very blessed to have Sergeant Q, aka Sergeant Q, or Aaron Quinonez, in my corner tonight at the Veteran Coach Network. Folks, if you have not followed us, if you have not liked us, you've not shared us, please do so today. But I'm going to share something. Sergeant Q's been with us for over a year, and he's been working with the Veteran Coach Network. He believes when we believe, and it's very simple. Iron sharpens iron. So with that said, Sergeant Q is here tonight, and we're going to talk about how veterans across not just the U.S., but across the world come together. Tonight is our late night. It's our fireside chat, and we're just going to have it real here on the Veteran Coach Network. So as I can probably ramble on, and folks, don't expect perfection. This is just us two veterans coming together about veterans helping veterans. And tonight we're on the Veteran Coach Network, and we're going to talk about how we can not only help elevate, communicate, and amplify veterans, but we're going to talk about how we can help each other heal. So Sergeant Q, thank you for not only being a co-host, but for helping us tonight and kicking us off with the Veteran Coach Network. Can you help me just help share with veterans across the world about your journey, please?
Yeah. When I left the Marine Corps, it was, the tightest family that I'd ever known, even more than my own blood family. And when I left the Marine Corps, I didn't realize how much I missed that camaraderie. And when I got out into the civilian world, it just operated different. There was nobody there that really cared about you, just looking after you. You didn't show up to work, so what? In the Marine Corps, if you didn't show up, everybody was looking for you. Everybody was trying, where is he? He missed formation, find out where he's at. People cared about you, what you were going through, what you were doing, where you were. If your uniform was squared away, people cared about you. In the civilian world, it just didn't exist. And that was one of the hardest things for me, is realizing that nobody was checking in on you, and you weren't checking in on anybody else. It was just the weirdest thing. And I really struggled with that for a very long time. When I came back from my deployment to Iraq, I really was struggling with mental health, but I didn't know who to talk to, right? I'm isolated away from all the guys that I knew in the military, and I'm living in the Pacific Northwest. My friends don't understand. My family doesn't get it. And it was a slippery slope, and it wasn't too long before I found myself, homeless, living in my car. I had lost my job, and, my girlfriend left, and I'd already gone through a divorce, a few months after I got back from deployment. So the marriage ended, and then it was just this kind of up and down. I'd get a job and be doing fine for a bit, and then I'd crash and burn, and then I'd do okay for a bit, and then I'd crash and burn. And it was just this terrible cycle with my mental health until I finally kind of hit rock bottom and was living in my car, and so it was rough for me coming out. And so now I just try to educate people about mental health and how if you're not managing your mental health, you're not going to be able to manage anything in your life, your job, your marriage, your kids. I don't care what it is. If you're struggling with mental health, it's going to damage everything else in your life. It's really the center, the core of making sure that your relationships are healthy, your job is healthy, your future is healthy, is getting your mental health healthy. And that's what I try and help guys do now.
I appreciate that. Folks, if you haven't met Sergeant Q, you haven't been at the Veteran Coach Network, I'm going to tell you, he wears his heart on his sleeve. He is willing to put it out there. And if you want to have a conversation with a gentleman who's literally come from, and I'm going to use this term, rags to riches, who's literally come from homeless to multi-millionaire. If you want to get to know him, just have a conversation, 30 seconds, 15 minutes, maybe 30 if you're lucky. But if you want to have that conversation, you need to come out to the Veteran Coach Network, because at the end of every event, we have something called networking. And he boxes that time. And not just him, other great folks, other warriors, other heroes, other folks who represented less than 1% of our nation, who have said, hey, I will swear and protect the Constitution of the United States. Folks who will protect and defend the U.S., less than 1%. and said, hey, we'll partner with the Veteran Coach Network, and they come together. And at the end of every event, not only do they come together, they help support each other. And I'm telling you, folks, come out here and have the opportunity to meet them. Come out and meet the Sergeant Q. Come out to meet the folks like his wife, Holly. She has dedicated her life to help other veterans just like Q himself. And you'll never meet such great patriotic, great Americans unless you come out and visit the Veteran Coach Network. So Q, let's just sit back in our chairs. Let's just relax. Let's just have a conversation. So
I feel like I need to have my glass.
You're already seated back, so let me sit back. Sorry, go ahead. Say that again.
Oh, I was gonna say I feel like I need to have my glass of scotch with me.
Yeah, man. I'm going with a glass of soda. It's late. I don't want to put on drinking, but we'll have a little bit of soda. So
yeah,
hey,
I don't drink like I used to, but I'll have a nice glass of scotch. And trust me, the stuff that I'm drinking, you're not going to be shooting this stuff, right? Like it's
you know what? Look,
40 minutes to get through one scotch.
Let's have a real conversation here. You brought the other night. You brought a organization.
Yeah.
To our community.
Mm-hmm.
Can you share more about that? Because I think it's phenomenal how our ecosystem is helping our ecosystem.
Yeah, so you're talking about the Landeroo wineries, I believe, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so this is a Black-owned, women minority-owned winery, and from France. So she married a Frenchman over there, and his family's been in the wine industry forever. And really kind of how that works is they kind of sell their grapes and their recipe and their wine to big labels, and nobody even knows who they are, but they sell them to these big labels and they buy it and they sell it. And then that's what you're drinking. Most of these big named wineries, they don't own their own vineyards. They're getting their stuff from these smaller vineyards and they're making wines. It's fine, it's not a problem. But they thought, well, we can have our own label. And so they did. They made a premier champagne. And I'm not a champagne guy. I just never have been. But
I love champagne. My wife loves champagne. You do the mimosa,
yeah,
the orange juice and champagne. You become
my wife
champagne.
loves it, man. I'm just not into it, right? I like that earthy, peaty, smoky. I'm talking like an 18 to 21 year Lagavulin. You know, it tastes like you're chewing on a tobacco pipe, right? Like I like that scotch.
Okay.
But here's the champagne they have. It's called Rugby Champagne because her husband was a big time rugby player. And so they called it Rugby Champagne. Now, this is aged in charred oak barrels is what this is. It's kept in, the wine is put in for like a couple of years, I think, into these oak barrels for scotch or whiskey, right? I don't remember, whiskey barrels. And it has the deepest, richest, earthy flavor that I've ever had. It's incredible. The flavor of the champagne. It's called Rugby Champagne. You can check it out. It's super fun. So this year they are the premier winery at Martha's Vineyard for this Blackstone Festival.
And that sounds like it's an invite only, like exclusive. You're kind of looking at the list. You better show up and represent or you're not coming back next year.
Yeah, it's very, very exclusive. And so they were selected to be the winery for this event. And so he was able to bring them in. And so when they do that, they can bring in a few different sponsors, right, to sponsor the wine, have their name there, show up, be part of the event. And so I brought that to the Veteran Coaching Network to see if there were veteran-owned businesses who were on the East Coast. I would have done it. I'm not on the East Coast, so it's a little bit harder for my brand to be out there because I just don't have a footprint. I'm in the Northwest. But
hey, wait, time out. You're national, brother.
I am national, but I have
folks calling me trying to get on a wait list to talk to you.
I know.
Talk about later.
I know. But for me to go out there to do that event, it's just a little harder for me with my speaking schedule. Like I'm going to be with the Cherokee Nation next weekend. The weekend after that, I'm going to be speaking at a conference. I'm doing 6 cities in 6 months. So, I mean, I'm stacked, and I just don't have time to get out there. But I thought it'd be a great opportunity for another veteran-owned business if they wanted to get their name out there to this very exclusive group of people that go to Martha's Vineyard. It'd be a great opportunity. So I put it out there to the network, and we'll see if somebody wants to jump on board and be part of that. Great company, awesome people. And you know how I met them, Luke? You know how I met them?
No,
I'm their coach. I'm their scaling coach. So remember the reality TV show that I was on? That
Wait. The Blocks.
The Blocks, yes. So I won 2 seasons and now I'm a coach. And so they're one of the companies that I coach. And so a couple weeks ago, they flew out here to Washington and I helped them make connections out here with, it's called Smoke and Cedar. So Smoke and Cedar, they received a national title as the best casino steakhouse in the country. So they beat out New York, they beat out Texas, they beat out Vegas, in Auburn, Washington. So they received this huge award. So I know the guys there, so I brought them out, made the introduction to a few other key players here in the Northwest to help them bring their brand out here. So I love to connect people and help them. Now, I'm not part of the company. I don't get paid to make those connections. Yes, I coach them, but coaching them through the blocks is more about putting infrastructure and scaling and leadership. My job is not to connect them to people like this, but I do that because I want to be able to give as much value as I can. And if I can make a connection, why wouldn't I?
I mean, the truth is you care. And when someone who cares, I mean, there's some says for that. There's some said for, hey, I can just check the box and coach you, help you get to the next level. But if I care,
right,
I'm invested in you. And the difference is, many coaches are like, hey, check the box, let me move on. But your investment is significant because you didn't just bring it to me. You brought them to at least 25, 28 different organizations in one meeting in literally your first 5 minutes of that conversation. That's pretty incredible. Yeah,
I used to hey man, the Veteran Coaching Network, they had one of their sponsors had to back out last minute, so they had a slot. And I was like, oh man, I know these guys, the Veteran Coaching Network. Maybe one of these guys would love an opportunity to get their brand in front of some of these key players and out there at market. If anything, man, it's a great networking experience. Like you get to go out there, you're rubbing shoulders with, some of the most exclusive brands in the country. It's super cool. If I could have fit it in my schedule, man, I would have done it. But I was already committed to these other 2 events that I had.
So what's their timeline? Are we talking like from today? And by the way, folks, if you're listening, today is July 24th. So my core staff has like 24 hours to turn this video around. So because I want to help Starting Q, but more importantly, I want to help folks in our network because this is veterans helping veterans. And there's something said for when we come together, we want to help our crew. So let me ask this question. How much time from today, like give me the day before, like how much time do we have? 7 days, 5 days, 3 days?
I think right now you've probably got like 2 weeks. But if you want, before the event, but if you want to do it, they've got to be able to get your logo, get your brand guide, put it on the banners, like get the tickets, get whatever you're going to bring, like understanding that whole process. I'd say, by Wednesday, Thursday of next week, they've got to let's
hey staff, if you're listening, staff, I'm telling you right now, you got like 24 hours, 48 hours to turn this around. Please help us out. We want to help Q, but we want to help his network. We want to help him. But more importantly, we want to help vets helping vets. We want to help vets helping our ecosystems because at the end of the day, we want our ecosystem turning around to help veterans as well. And we want to show the world something that we believe in the Veteran Coach Network, but something we believe Strategy Unlocked, something we believe in the Business Navigators, something we believe in Valor Ventures Media, something we believe in American Heroes Youth Client Connect, something we believe in Evolve is this. Veterans can make the impossible possible. Let's come together, folks. If it's $1,000 here, $1,000 there, they need, I think, something like $6,000 right now at a minimum to pull together. But listen, if we could just pull together and help them, help us, it would be amazing. Every person, every organization that helps, if it's a few dollars here or there, we're willing to post you and that organization when we figure it out. We're willing to post you in the Veteran Coaching Network. And we're going to post you, your organization, every dollar you donated. And then we'll ask them if we can get that many people through a QR code on there. And we'll push it to the Veteran Coaching Networks. Every organization that donates, instead of one brand ambassador, we'll have 5. We'll have 10, we'll have 20, we'll have 100. And right now, if you listen to me, I'm willing right now, I'll put up $200 to this cause to start it right now. This is vets, helping vets, helping vets. Let's do it now. So what do you think, Q?
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Thanks for doing it, man. I'll match you on that for sure.
I love it.
I do a lot of work with these guys. I absolutely love, what they're doing. I love small business owners. So many veterans are small business owners, and a lot of them just need they need encouragement, but they just need somebody to open a door for them. That was the hardest thing, is finding people who are willing to just open a door. Now, you don't have to sell anything for them. You don't have to do anything. You have to do the work. All you got to do for most people is just open the door for them and let them come in, and they will run their own business. For people who want me to come in and do the work for them, I'm not interested in that. Like, you couldn't pay me enough. I've done that already 5 or 6 times with my companies, brought them all to 6 figures. I have one that is a multi-million-dollar company. Like, we're going to be hitting 7 figures at some point, right? Like, we are on that trajectory. We are crushing it right now.
I love it.
And we're marching that company across the nation. So when you said nationwide, you're absolutely right. I'm taking my small little janitorial that I started when I was sleeping in my car in Auburn, Washington, just scrubbing toilets. So I didn't make my millions by being a coach. I did. I've made hundreds being a coach, okay? But I've made millions by scrubbing toilets and becoming the best doggone toilet scrubber that I can be. And treating people with dignity and respect. And people want to work with me. And they want to work for me. And I've built the second largest janitorial company on the West Coast, or in the Pacific Northwest, that's independently owned. And I did that by helping other people be successful. Because when I go into a business, so here's a tip for all you guys listening right now. When I go in, my goal isn't to make a sale. My goal is to make that person look like a hero to their customers. That's my goal. And so every time I have a meeting, I'm in a sales call, I'm doing anything, all I'm trying to figure out is, how do I make this guy look like a hero? And if I can do that, then they're going to keep me long term. And that's what I try to do in every single engagement. So even when I'm coaching these clients, I'm thinking, how can I help them be the hero? And so being able to bring this incredible opportunity to the Veteran Coaching Network, I don't get the accolades for that, but the winery company will, right? If you partner with these guys and you show up and you go to this event and make some incredible connections, like, you're not going to remember me, and that's great. You're going to remember them, because you're going to spend a weekend with them, you're going to talk with them, you're going to build a relationship with them, and you don't know what those doors are going to open up for you. And that's what I love doing. I love just trying to be the doorman for people, open doors that they wouldn't be able to get an audience with.
I love that. One thing I say is, I always tell folks, this isn't Luke Coaching Network. This is the Veteran Coaching Network. I want this to survive me. I want this to survive, the Q. Oh, we have to edit this part. Okay, so I want this to survive me. I want this to survive the Q. I want this to be a legacy for our tribe. I believe the Veteran Coaching Network is bigger than us. But to your point, I'm willing to help open, push, or pull the door. I'm going to share some with you. I had about 4 veterans call me this week. Some up out of nowhere come talk to me. And they said, "Sir," I'm like, "Well, my name's Luke. Sir, can you help me with my resume?" I said, "I'd be honored to." So I said, "But you told me something. You said you need help." And I always looked at things, if you need help, that means someone else needs help behind you. So that's when I built this whole page, the Veteran Coach Network, trying to bring you on, other folks on, make ambassadors, coaches, mentors. Even if they give 30 minutes, could change someone's life. But what I believe in is setting you and them up for success. So I'm leveraging my thousands of dollars and leveraging my tech stack in my investments to right now, literally as we're speaking, it's happening behind the scenes. We're coding where I can help folks create their own resumes in different formats, from the Harvard standard to whatever, that when they come to the Veteran Coach Network, we'll help them with their first 2 resumes. But guess what? We don't stop there. We're going to give them the algorithm. We're going to help them where they can plug it back into some sort of, let's say, Claude or ChatGPT, you name it, and it can help them apply for their jobs while they're sleeping. And it'll do more than that. It'll edit, modify, shape, make sure it's certain standards, make sure it doesn't just, doesn't just make shit up. It's going to make sure we put the actual stuff on there to help them. Because Sir Q, I did 3,500 resumes. No veteran should have to go through that. No veteran.
Wow.
And I want to help change. And I'm a smart enough guy. Like, you're smart. Guys like us, birds of the same feather, flock together. And I believe that we can leverage our intelligence to help our entire tribe. All we have to do is take a minute, remove ourselves, understand and study the problem, and say, you know what? We can fix this. Let's do our mission analysis. Let's do our situational understanding. You know what I mean? Let's come up with our absolute 7 steps of our process, of our military decision-making process. Let's go through our joint operation plans. And let's think of like military vets have led the most complicated operations around the world. Folks, we can help you with your resume. This is like nothing as complicated as we've done and what we've accomplished. We can help you.
You said something there that I don't want people to just breeze over, which is, your tech stack. And so people don't know that's like all the technology it takes to make these things work. All of the CRMs and the automations and the emailers and the social media and the distribution funnels. And I mean, there's a tech stack. It's like 10 things that you got to pay for, subscriptions, all of this stuff. It's not cheap, it's expensive. So when people hear you say things like, oh, we use AI, and people think, I got ChatGPT, I paid, nothing for that. I got a free version. I don't need this. What I got is free. It's like, yeah, bro. That's like riding a 3-wheel bicycle, okay, is the free version of ChatGPT. What we're talking about is a BMW X6.
Exactly.
A lot more money went into the design, the implementation, the engine work, all of these things that make a BMW a BMW. That's when we talk about a tech stack, that's what we have. This isn't your run-of-the-mill chatbot that you got for $10. Exactly. You can get those and it'll work, right? You can ride a bicycle, it'll get you there, but it's not going to get you there as fast or having as much fun as a BMW will. And that's what we're talking about. The things that we build are the business version of all of those different technologies. Right? This is not something that you just pick up off the shelf and plug in. You buy this and then you customize it. All of that takes time and money. And then once it's built, it doesn't just run. You got to continue to maintain it and improve it because the algorithms change and technology changes and all these things change. And so it's funny because I have a small marketing agency, honestly, that I just built for myself.
Wait, hold on. Let's be honest. Your wife has built it for you.
True. Very true. Very true. So we built this thing and we people are like, oh, I could just go get my own GHL. It's $100 a month. And I could just, post my own stuff on social media. I'm like, yeah, man, go for it. Go ahead and do that. Having a conversation with a guy comes up to me, he's a guy from my church. And he's like, Q, this thing that you built for the church, this is amazing. I've never seen anything like it. I get these text messages all the time, these reminders, and the way that this comes out, and it looks so good, and all of these things. And I'm like, yeah, man, it's cool. That's what I do. It's like, how did you do that? So, well, I have a company, and this is what we do. We do this for businesses, and I just happen to do this for the church because it's my church. Built it out. He's like, oh my gosh, you guys are business owner. He says, could you do that for me? He's a real estate guy. And I said, yeah, man. He's like, well, what does that cost? I said, just entry level. The most bare bones thing I do is going to be $5,000. $5,000 gets you the landing page, funnel, and the automations that go with it. Like, that's what you're going to get. And it's going to be $5,000. And then depending on how much support you need, it could be anywhere between $1,500 and $2,500 a month, just depending on how much support you need to make sure that thing keeps running. And he goes, oh, I don't know. That's expensive. I said, you're right, because I'm good. I said, you could do all this stuff on your own. Here, get a pen and paper. I'm going to give you a list of all the tech you need. I'll tell you exactly how to do it. You can go do it yourself, man. I said, and when you get frustrated, when you get burned out, when you get tired of trying to build all this infrastructure because you just want to be out there selling houses, come back to me and I'll build it for you. It'll be $5,000 and for between $1,500 and $2,500 a month, depending on how much support you need.
I will say, what is $1,500 to $2,500 a month when it's bringing you in $50,000 to $100,000 profit a month? It's nothing. It's makes sense.
Listen, this is what This is what I asked the guy. I said, look, man, because he does adult family homes. He wants to get out of regular real estate and go to adult family homes, right? I'm like, cool, got it. I said, what's your profit margin on one of those? He's like, oh, about 15K. I said, 15K on one sale. I said, so if I could get you one sale a month, this thing is paid for itself 3 times over, and you're telling me I'm too expensive? I said, wow. I said, has anybody ever come up to you and said, hey, bro, would you, I need to sell this house, but instead of taking your 3% commission, would you take 1? He said, no, I'd never do that. I said, then why are you looking at me for a discount, man? I don't know, man. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I'm just going to be real with you. Like, somehow you don't think what I do is valuable? Bro, people like that, I just, ugh. Now, that's not everybody. Most people, you know, they appreciate what I bring to the table. They love the information that I give them. I love helping them. But every now and then you get people like that, and you kind of look at them sideways like, what are we talking about?
I have something to add. By leveraging your system, it's not bringing them $15,000 a month. By leveraging your system, you've doubled, if not tripled, if not quadrupled, because of the drip marketing, because of now they're receiving like first class type of landing pages, because now they're entering a funnel that's actually maturing and nurturing a sequence that's really bringing them into like a pre-sales or qualification sequence. Then boom, he just spends less time on the phone, but securing double the amount of profit. This is a no-brainer. I'm telling you right now. And folks, we didn't come together to talk about this, but what's great is we're talking about how veterans are changing the world, and that's exactly what we need to talk about.
And it's funny too, because he came to me because there was this small ministry that was in our church that was kind of struggling to get any traction. So I built this thing out, and it just blew up overnight. And that's where he was like, hey, I need this for my business. It's like, well, yeah, man. He's like, well, I can buy. And he's the guy who was like, oh, I could buy this and buy that, and it's cheaper. And I'm like, yeah, man, you're right. Go for it, because my tech stack, what I have is not your garden variety, plug and play stuff that you can get on subscription. Like, we've built out these things. We know what works. Not just the technology, but we know the rhythm and the cadence of how many times to add a value post, an ask post, a question post, a referral post. And some of this goes via email, some of this goes social media. Like, we have fine-tuned how to bring this in. Just to do an A/B test, we ran a new product for one of my lanes, which is my Giant Slayer, teaching people how to overcome the giants in their life, right? Anxiety, depression, financial instability, whatever that looks like. And we ran it. And all it said was, you ready to defeat the giants in your life? We just ran an A/B test just to try this thing out, right? Like, I rebranded a product. I call it Giant Slayers. I've been teaching people about mental health, but then I rebranded it as Giant Slayers because these are all giants. Anxiety, depression, financial instability, addiction. They're all these giants that are bigger than us, and so we avoid them. I teach people how to overcome it. So instead of branding it as mental health, I branded it as giants. Because one of the guys in my church, he said, man, you're a giant slayer. You beat a lot of these things. These are giants. And I thought, you're right. So I just named it Giant Slayer. We threw it out there on one of these funnels with this lead gen and this lead magnet of a free ebook and then a webinar later. We ran this $5 ad. We did it for 3 weeks, and I had 750 leads come into the funnel. Okay, so in order to come in, that means 750 people downloaded the ebook, which all go into my nurture campaign. They all go into my nurture campaign now. And I had 45 people sign up for the course. It's a $5 ad, dude. And I didn't even do anything. It hasn't even gone to the nurture yet. It's just starting the nurture campaign now. That was direct from lead magnet to purchase. And we're just like, oh my God. People love this branding. They love this terminology. We just did a test. It's called build, measure, learn. Like, we built it. Let's just test it. We didn't put a lot of energy into it because you don't want to make it big. Build, measure, learn. Put it out there. People responded. We said, whoa, okay. So now we're launching the nurture campaign. I've got people that found me there that are now buying tickets for my speaking engagements that aren't happening for another couple months. Where did that come from? That came from the Giant Slayer ad. We're just like, wow. That's incredible. So that's the tech stack. That's what we talk about. We talk about tech stack. That's what it is. That's what it does. That's how it helps people. So anyway, man, it was just a super cool thing that when you said that, it just spurred me on. I figure people here listen to us talk, and sometimes they don't understand what that means. That's what a tech stack is, and that's the power of a good tech stack. Is it brings in leads that is repeatable, scalable, and they convert. That's what a tech stack does. It helps you communicate efficiently with your customers.
I love that, and that's passionate. It's perfect, and that is a great example of how veterans are making the impossible possible, because they see this entire from cradle to grave process, and they're like, "Hey, we can actually make this more effective and efficient." We see technology as something we can leverage versus as something we have to fight. So I love that.
And it's funny too, because I wasn't like, I'm going to build a marketing agency. It's just I got burned by a bunch of marketing agencies. So I was like, okay, I could do this better. And so I did. I built it, and it worked great. I was like, this is awesome. And then people saw it, just like that guy from church. And then it was like, hey man, who's doing this? Can you help me? Most of them, become my clients. I'm probably one of the only marketing agencies that doesn't have to market themselves. I don't market we don't run any ads. We don't market at all that we do this. We only do it by referral. And we only do it with people that we know and we like. I mean, I don't have anybody that's come into the marketing company that we help them that I don't personally know. Everybody has been people that we know, because we don't ever talk about it. We don't ever advertise.
I love it. So something I just have to bring out, something that people need to know about you, your family, kind of what you're doing, is really something simple. We're holding the Veteran Coach Network on, our next one is August 8th, and then we're actually going to have a little bit of the Veteran Coach Network on August 15th at the American Heroes Equine Connection Incorporated. It's going to be virtual, beaming into Indiana. I'm excited about it. And now through our enterprise, we're standing up something called Valor and Venture Meeting. But what I want to bring up is this. With you, we're actually having 4 panels at the Veteran Coach Network, and we're going to start changing different panels, all different topics for the year. We're doing a re-event for the Veteran Coach Network because we want to reach a greater audience through our veterans. And our 4 panels is essentially vets telling their story, storytellers, and vets in podcasting. We're also going to do the next one kind of like vets in book writing, and the next one we're going to talk about vets in nonprofits. Then we're going to get in venture person entrepreneurs, and we're going to finish in vets in AI, and not just vets, but vets, entrepreneurs, folks, CEOs, COs, all coming together about AI talking. I'm really excited about this. But you're one of those guys who can fit in every one of those subjects. Can you take a second, 30 seconds, a minute, and talk about like each one of those that you can? Because I know you fit perfectly in every one of those categories. And we had to think of like, where do we put you, or should we put you? And we're like, we should put them in every panel. And then we're hearing you for four panels, and we respect your time. No, we love hearing you. It's just we want to respect.
So, yeah, entrepreneur. I have my janitorial company is my largest company, and I got 150 employees there. And that's one that we're growing and scaling super rapidly across the country. So I have that, and then I have a real estate company where I buy real estate in downtown corridors. I fix them up and then I lease them back out, or I sell them. So I've done that several times. I've only got one guy working there. It's not a whole lot of work. We use a lot of subs, and I just do a lot of research. And then I go, usually it's the cities that I'm speaking in. I go check out the downtown area, and I'm like, okay. And then I do research on it, and then I try and find who owns these buildings. And I just go knock on doors, man. Like, hey, you're looking to sell this building. It's kind of worn down. I don't know. I never thought about it. Say, hey, man, call me. I'd love to be able to buy it. I bought so many properties like that, just knocking and talking to people, and I make them an offer, buy it, rehab it, sell it, or lease it out. So that's just one company there. It's kind of fun for me in my life. I've got another company, which is my technology company. So I've built apps. I've built several apps. One's for my janitorial company, helps me manage all of the time. It's one of the reasons that we are able to scale so rapidly is because of my tech stack. What I wanted didn't exist in the marketplace, so I built it. And we have a few other companies that use it as well. We can sell it like a B2B product, but really we just use it for ourselves. So I've got that company where we build apps. I built the Q Actual app, which showed a 90% reduction to readmittance to the emergency room for suicidal ideations. I received tons of awards for that. I received the Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. I was named one of the top 100 Hispanic founders. So I've got that company. I've got another company where I build out speeches and I speak on stage, my speaking career, and then my mental health teachings as well. So those kind of go hand in hand, but one of them again is technology. And then the other one is just me speaking on stage. So I could go on the storytellers and I could tell you, I even teach a course called Profitable Storytelling. Like there is a way to tell a story that leads people through a psychological buying process by building trust, setting yourself up as a subject matter expert, touching them in their feelings, and then appealing to logic. And it's not manipulative, it's just how the brain processes information effective and efficient. And so I tell people like, look, if you're looking for some NLP, like how can I be able to manipulate people into buying? Like there's guys out there that do that. It's not. I just tell you I show you how to tell a great story that's going to lead people to trust you, buy into what you're saying, and then have greater success. So I could be storyteller. Technology, again, AI, we harness AI a lot. I was a super early adopter of AI back when it was Midjourney days. Okay, I was an early adopter in Midjourney, early adopter in ChatGPT. I've used Gronk, I use Claude. I have an AI wearable that when I'm in meetings with people, I turn that on. Yep, and it gives me all the notes and I'm able to look back through the notes. So I'm a huge advocate for AI, but my wife knows 10 times more than I do. She really got into this. And so she's going to be on your guys' AI panel teaching about AI. When it comes to podcasting, right here, the Mental Health Janitors, where we help you clean up the mess in your head. I've got this podcast and we're doing a second segment. So we're going to have a second episode per week where we bring on guests now because it's just been me and my co-host. So I do podcasting. It's been super successful and it's an amazing lead gen for me as well in the mental health space. So, I mean, like you said, I could hit every one of those things. I know I didn't hit it in 30 seconds. I probably hit it in a minute.
Hey, so speaking of mental health janitors, I have a gentleman who's interested in talking with you about it further. We were talking over the last couple of days.
Yeah.
And he's a big writer, not a huge fan of AI, but a really big writer. And I was trying to get him to kind of like propel into his own podcast. And he's not quite there yet, but he's a veteran, 19 Delta. Served for a while, really good guy. And so I love you, brother. You are absolutely amazing. And what's great about you is your gift of knowledge. You're so read in, you know so much from depth and breadth. And just every minute with you that I've been blessed with, I'm always learning something new. And folks are tuning back in here. We're actually having a conversation, finishing up a little bit about AI. And quite frankly, Sergeant Q is a fresher breath air because he understands like both sides of the pendulum. But we're going to talk about something a little different right now. So we're going to talk about Sergeant Q as a person, and then I want to get into the mental health janitors because I think it's important first we know him as a person, to know he's kind of going through and struggling from a vet journey. And then I think it's important to transpose that to how he is not only dealing with it, but also how he's helping and healing other veterans. So, Sergeant Q, if you don't mind, I'm going to pull a little out of you here. It's going to be deeper and personal. It's going to be deeper in story. So can you share with us a little bit what you're going through from a personal experience? I saw you posting some things about your, I saw your back. It was like complete, like, not even S. It was like this. It was like multiple S's. Can you share a little bit about that if you don't mind?
Yeah, I just, I've always had pain. Veterans, we always got some sort of pain somewhere, right? My hips, my knees. But I'm an avid hiker. I'm in the Northwest, so I hike a lot. I fish a lot. And I'm hiking down into these canyons to fish. I'm hiking up into these alpine lakes to fish and hike and all of these things, camping. I just hiked the Inca Trail, one of the hardest hikes in the world. I just hiked the Inca Trail a few months ago. So I'm very active. And I got down to do some push-ups in the morning. First thing I do in the morning, get up, go to the restroom, and then I try and knock out some push-ups. And I'm just going slow and deliberate push-ups. And I felt like, oh man, my shoulder hurts a little. By the time I got done brushing my teeth, I was like, man, my shoulder's like really bothering me. So I skipped the gym that day. By that night, I couldn't even sleep. I'm like, something is wrong. I tore a muscle, something's happening. And so I, tried to go to sleep that night, woke up the next morning, excruciating pain all day. I had a full day on my calendar of podcasting and coaching. And so I'd be in this seat and then have a 15 or 20 minute break between. I would just lay down on the floor. Like, oh my gosh, I'm hurting so bad. Finally went in to go see a chiropractor. And the chiropractor took those x-rays that you saw. And it shows that I had an injury in the Marine Corps, and I know when it was, and it's that very last vertebrae, and it's pushed in, and it broke the coccyx, the tailbone, and then it fused it back together over 20 years, but it's not in the right position. And since that's out of position, instead of the spine it's supposed to be like an S, right? But instead of that, it's doing, the S is supposed to be from the side profile, right? But if you look at me from straight on this profile, my spine is doing this because it's trying to compensate for that break. So my hips are twisted, which twists my middle back, which then twists my neck. And so the problem is there's such a huge twist in my neck that it's separating my ribs in the back. So my second and third rib are being pulled and separated. And you can see how ribs normally have this curve, right? They're kind of curved like this. Well, the one on this side right here isn't curved anymore. It's like this because it's getting pulled. And that's where all the pain's coming from. And so it radiates from my shoulder down to my elbow, even to my wrist. And it's just been constant pain. And the doc said, well, good news is that we can fix it. It's going to take a year. I'm like, a year? But no, I gotta go talk to somebody else. So he did some adjustments, and I did get some relief. I went and saw my doc, who is a vet. And Hiller, I was like, look, man, how can we do this faster? I need some pain relief. I can't live like this. Because it started affecting my mental health. When you're in constant pain, we're talking like constant 7, nonstop, no comfortable way to sit, lay down. I don't want to be on narcotics all day. I can't. I got to be of sound mind so I can do my work. He gave me some cortisone shots in my shoulder. And so that was yesterday. And so today is the first day that 7 has dropped down to a 3. Because when you're in that much pain for that long, it really starts to mess with your mind. Your serotonin production is 0, no more dopamine, and there's no more adrenaline going through your body, or not adrenaline, but no more endorphins going through your body because you've depleted your endorphins, which is your natural pain reliever. So it's just constant throbbing. I've had to use every single breathing exercise that I know, the cold plunge, like everything I know to try and manage this pain. And just my own, most people just go take a narcotic and be fine. But for me, I just don't want to do that. It's just, for me, I'm not judging anybody else, but for me, I don't want to do that. I grew up in the drug trade. And so I just watched people destroy their lives getting hooked on narcotics. So for me, I'll do anything and everything I can to just stay away from that stuff. Now, I've never had a problem with narcotics, but it's because I stay far away from them, just because I've seen the damage that they can do.
I will say it's incredible. The incredible amount that you're just like, hey, let me endure, let me push through, let me sacrifice. But most veterans, I think, have been at a point in that because they've either jumped out of planes or maybe fast line down some ropes, or maybe they're wearing all this equipment during the deployment and it's another 50, potentially 100 pounds. They get their rucksack on top of all that. It's just insane what our body has to kind of go through. And then sometimes through, depending what time you're in and how long you're in, maybe you're stuffed into a sardine can and maybe through sandbags on the floor and you up armor the doors and you're like, you'll be fine. And then you're not really fine because your whole body's taking the pain in the joint. So I completely understand. Not sure too much, but my last 6 months of service, I almost died 3 times. And I think that total, it's been about 26 times almost died in service because of between IEDs and everything else that we're forced to do and go through. But I mean, I wouldn't trade it a day for anything. The camaraderie, the family, the brotherhood, just I wouldn't trade a thing. But my body is just not the same where it was when I joined. And I think most of it's not. And
Yeah.
so over time, I've had to think of ways I can cope and overcome some of that. That's where I created the American Heroes Equine Connection Incorporated, where I bring vets, first responders, of PTSD therapy. But what I want to say about this is that I almost died myself. I started with this myself to help me, so I didn't have to succumb to my own demons. And it made me a better person as a father, as a husband, and I was dealing with, I'm going to use your term, I'm dealing with the mental health junk I've been going through. You share how you're helping yourself
man.
and other veterans or other folks dealing with their mental health.
Yeah, so I run an award-winning nonprofit that I started. Same thing like you, Luke. I was struggling with mental health and I couldn't get help anywhere, so I just started building a program. I found the Bible and I found the Lord, and I started reading the Bible. At the same time, I'm reading these books about neuroscience. I'm like, this is telling me the exact same thing. And so I built a little battle plan just for myself, just using my military tactics as if I'm fighting a real battlefield, which I was. It's just a battlefield of the mind. And so it's like, okay, how do I, number one, recognize the enemy, target acquisition? And then how does this enemy operate? And now what can I do to overcome it? What are pluses and minuses in this battle, right? Like, what are things that make it worse? Well, alcohol and drugs. Okay, so we're going to cut that off. So what makes it better? And so learning these things. And now I teach this to other people. That's my Giant Slayer workshop that I teach. I teach people how to take every thought captive, take control of their mental health journey, and be able to defeat the giants that are on the battlefield of the mind. And a lot of times, I love it, Army, here you go, here's your plug. G.I. Joe says knowing is half the battle. And it's absolutely true. So I teach people how the brain operates. Nobody teaches us this stuff. They should be teaching us this in grade school, but they don't. Like how something can happen, you have an incident, which triggers an automatic thought.
That's not cool. And when you're done, I want to say something real quick about sending your physical to this. All right, go ahead.
So very simply, how the brain works is an incident happens. Then you have an automatic thought. You can't choose that. An automatic thought happens. That thought triggers a feeling inside of your body, which is a neurochemical getting released. Your brain interprets that as an emotion, and then depending on what that emotion is, it'll either store it in your hippocampus as a memory, or it will touch the amygdala if it thinks if it's dangerous, or you get angry or upset, it touches the amygdala. The amygdala fires off, puts cortisol and adrenaline in your body, narrows your focus, reduces your decision-making capabilities, your long-term planning, and your ability to overcome impulses. Then you have an over-emotional reaction. And that's what happens to most people. But you have a pause button in your brain. It's called the ACC, the anterior cingulate cortex. So when that thought, feeling, and emotion hits your brain, you can pause and you can say, okay, that's what I saw, but this is the truth. This is a new thought, a new feeling, a new emotion. And that way you can have a response instead of a reaction. And this is what
I love that. And not only you teach them, but you teach them from experience. You teach them through, hey, I've been through your shoes. I've been through that journey. I've walked and literally walked that trail and been up that mountain and have personally seen the trials and tribulations going that way. And quite frankly, you have a very vast and quite honestly amazing legacy serving in the military. And most folks probably don't know what it was you did. Can you take a second to explain your potential MOS, as we call it in the Army, and explain it so they can understand as I'm going to pull up?
Yeah, I started out as a field radio operator, and then I got selected to go to Anglico, which is the Air Naval Gunfire Liaison Company. So then I became a forward observer. So I called in all the air, artillery, mortars, close air support. Now they're using drones. We didn't have drones back then, but I called in all the air on station. I'm a master parachutist. I was a close combat instructor. So I got to do a lot of super cool stuff. we're the liaison element. So we work with all of the other branches of service, Air Force, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, being able to use all of their munitions. So we're certified to use all those munitions to put steel on target. Not only that, but we work as the liaison with our allies. So we work a lot with the foreign militaries, teaching them our air capabilities.
You know, you said kind of like a Fort Observer. Now, let me share something. I was a Fort Observer, but I have huge respect for Anglo-Coast because the ability to do multi-service gunnery is absolutely out of the world. I mean, there's something said for that. Folks, if you know what I'm talking about, give us likes and shares and pass it to everyone because this is a really big deal. And if you were a Fister or a 13 Fox, give us likes, shares as well because, boy, that was me. But what I will say, though, is not only so most folks don't realize this, when you go out there and you're in this capacity, you're usually forward in many degrees of the FLOT, the forward line of troops, and you're way out there. And because you're way out there, you have to haul the equipment. You got to pull, your equipment. You got to survive. I mean, it's huge. It's not like I'm going out there with a 10 or 25 or 35 pound rock. You're going out there with I may have to survive for 10 to 15 days. Like that's a big deal. MREs are half rationed. You're trying to figure it out. Hey, I gotta go out there and laze my target. It's a whole deal. Exactly. It's a whole
battery,
deal.
bro. Battery.
So I can understand that your body went through hell. I can understand that the mental focus had to always be focused on the mission. So, and I can understand how your body just went through this metamorphosis. It's just like push on and push on and push on. But post-service, you're like, how do I pick up and push? So I love the mental health janitors because you're not only talking about physical, you're talking about mental, and you're trying to help folks understand, listen, we'll have a little gunk in our head, but we're going to learn how to flush it together. And I think there's something said for that. I think there is. I really do.
Yeah.
Folks, if you're listening, please subscribe, like to Mental Health Janitors. Give the Veteran Coach Network a like as well because we're in this together. But listen, look up Sergeant Q or Aaron Quinonez. He's an amazing gentleman and a veteran, an entrepreneur, veteranpreneur, a storyteller. He's also a podcaster. He's out there with his family, putting themselves out there to help the tribe every day. Every day, they're giving their time to help the tribe. So I'm asking you, as supporters of the tribe, help him help us. And together, we'll make it through. My name is Luke Medvegy. I'm the founder of the Veteran Coach Network. And I'm going to tell you this. Iron sharpens iron. We can only do it together. It's folks like Aaron Quinonez. It's the folks like Luke Medvegy. It's the folks like Leanne Hudson, Sean Otto. It's like the folks who come together every week in and every week out to help our tribe. And we can't do it alone. Like us, we'll see you on the other side. Thank you for subscribing to and listening to the Veteran Coach Network in the evening. Thank you.